Yeah, I thought that was very, very nicely done, and I like that you guys picked high beta stocks, especially given the short time frame you guys had. I thought that was a wise choice. You know, one thing is, given kind of the short time that you guys are dealing with, is what specific catalysts you kind of expect, you know, near term, kind of drive what you, I guess, driving forward intrinsic value. You mentioned intrinsic value a few times, you know, at ADM, $59 or so. What were you looking there? Did ADM report earnings during that period, or what were you looking specifically to kind of drive where you guys thought it should be?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, what specific catalysts were you looking for in the market? Whether was it an earning, was it some kind of announcement, was it, you know, that was going to drive, you know, stock price to where you thought it should be trading, $59 in this case?
Well, I was hoping that the exports would be, you know, a lot more due to the depreciation of the dollar. You know, so I was pretty much trying to focus on that. Focus on the situation. I thought that the depreciation of the dollar was a horrible situation, but we could turn it into a positive and actually make money from it, as well as the long-term growth of the company. You know, so we were trying to focus on turning the negative into a positive. And again, it was, there's such a huge discount at 33%, you know, and it's, again, there's really no competition with this company. So we kind of figured that there would be a huge jump, especially with the biotechnology.
If I could ask another one, and I think Brian's point is it can stay undervalued for years and years. So just because it's trading at a 33% discount to what it should be trading doesn't mean it won't always do so. So I think you guys did pick things from catalyst. That was well done. Did you also consider, given that you were focused on the dollar, did you consider that all these companies have some potential for a consumer, an aspect of consumer weakness to them, specifically, especially Ruby Tuesday, given you know we were going into some pretty tough headwinds over this 3 months with regard to consumers and spending. Did you look at that?
I actually did not look at that for the reasons I took an approach that wasn't sort of traditional to my nature, which is to go fundamentally with Ruby Tuesday. I took an approach that is more technical, based on I wanted to choose a company that was depressed in their stock, that was going to report earnings near the end of the competition, and that would hopefully outperform the earnings that you saw with the presentation by 27%, which was pretty good. It just didn't, the stock price didn't jump because I believe because of the market that we're in, and because Ruby Tuesdays does have that consumer effect.
That's a great lesson to learn. It sounds like you found that if the news comes too late, it's just getting you out of a hole. So it's a good thing to learn. Also, you improved my favorite point, which is technical stuff work. And that's why I was going to ask you, have you ever been inside of Ruby Tuesday?
I have not, but I do know there was one in Roseville that I passed a couple times.
Before you invest in anything, walk in the door and you can find out if they really are clean, upscale, which is what they claim. Anyway, well done.
I also want to start out with some of the things that I really liked about your presentation. Number one, you talked about interviewing certain sources and getting references besides just looking at management. You know, you talked about interviewing Verizon, looking at third-party information source to evaluate. I think that's one of the things that you want to do when you're fundamentally investing. Number two, you talked about philanthropy, and as part of the pension plan, we often have to answer to our board in terms of certain needs, whether it be green or sustainable or philanthropic ends for investing. So it's nice that you looked into that as well. There are other aspects of investing. Number three, I want to mention, I wanted to mention that I liked how you focused on certain things like volatility. Volatility, as sometimes called risk, but often works in up markets, in markets where things are going well. You also focused on the depreciation of the dollar, which showed that you're focusing on some top-down aspects in addition to the fundamental bottom-up aspects that you were looking at for each stock. It seems like one thing that you might have thought about in your fundamental investing would have been trying to take a look at how the top-down or the economy might play a role in how a specific stock might do. For example, how commodities might play a part in how FedEx would perform. When I was looking at your reasoning for how FedEx did and how it didn't, maybe I missed it, but I just wanted to kind of find out whether or not you feel that commodities and the pricing there and the cost of FedEx was also another reason why the stock didn't perform the way you thought it would.
So in regards to FedEx, did take that into account. That's kind of why we selected ADM as well. We actually thought that, well, me personally, I thought that it would perform a little bit better. However, we actually felt that FedEx is actually an international company as well. They have a variety of different divisions. So we're pretty much hoping that maybe one of those divisions would outperform, especially like with FedEx, Kinko's and stuff like that. You see how it's growing. And I mean, I actually was in there the other day, and I see a lot of these people coming in there using their computers, using the phones, and it looks like that's their office for a lot of business people. So we saw a lot of growth potential within those companies, and we figured, I mean, if this was, I mean, I'm pretty confident that if it would have been about a year or two long competition, I think the results would have been a little bit different.
That answered my question very well. Thank you.
Okay, well,
I didn't introduce our judges, by the way, so I want to go ahead and do that now. We have Mr. Brian Liu of DCA as one of our judges, Dave Anderson of Palo Alto Investors, and then Teresa Cutter of CalSTRS. So those are our three judges for the evening. Next up we have...
You didn't even need the backup slides.